Keanu Reeves steps onto the tarmac of a private airport, slight breeze brushing through his hair. The sleek, polished surface of the jet gleams in the sunlight, its modern design a stark contrast to the humble nature that Keanu is known for. While the world knows him as an actor, today he is not heading to a glamorous red carpet event or an exciting movie premiere. Instead, he's boarding a private jet that will take him to a remote location, far from the usual hustle of Hollywood. The jet, a luxury aircraft, is designed for comfort and elegance, wide leather seats, large windows offering breathtaking views, and an atmosphere that exudes sophistication. Keanu, dressed casually in a simple t-shirt and jeans, stands out in the understated setting, embodying the quiet humility he's so well known for. As he boards, the crew welcomes him aboard with smiles, but Keanu is here for more than just a flight. The private jet's journey will take Keanu to an isolated location for a new project, a film shoot or an important meeting, details that are kept vague, but one thing is certain, he's always on the move, even when the world thinks of him as someone who stays out of the limelight. The sound of the engines starting fills the air as the jet prepares to lift off, and Keanu takes a seat in one of the comfortable chairs, his eyes focused on the scenery outside the window as the jet begins to roll down the runway. Despite the high-end luxury of the jet, Keanu's mind drifts to the peaceful quiet he values so much. He's far removed from the glitz and glamour, simply looking to get to his destination in one piece. Little does he know, this flight is about to turn into something far more adventurous than he expected. As the jet soars into the sky, the hum of the engines is a constant presence, a reminder of the immense power propelling the aircraft forward. Keanu leans back in his seat, enjoying the gentle sway of the plane as it climbs higher. He's always been a fan of travel, whether it's on the ground or in the air, but today something is a little different. The flight crew is busy with their duties, but the pilot, noticing Keanu's quiet presence, strikes up a conversation from the cockpit. He shares a friendly, casual chat about the flight and Keanu's destination. After a few minutes of light conversation, the pilot offers a surprising suggestion. "You know, Mr. Reeves," the pilot begins with a grin, "I've been flying planes for years, but I've never had someone like you on board. You ever thought about giving it a try yourself? Taking the controls, that is. I can walk you through it, nothing too complicated, just a little fun." Keanu, who had been quietly contemplating the vast expanse of clouds outside, turns his attention to the pilot's offer. He's always been open to new experiences, and the thought of trying his hand at something as exhilarating as flying a jet piques his interest. He's used to playing intense, action-packed roles on screen, but this is real life, and it's a whole new challenge. "You know, I've never flown anything bigger than a small propeller plane." Keanu chuckles, clearly intrigued by the idea. "But I'm game for anything. Let's see what you've got." The pilot's face lights up, pleased by Keanu's willingness. He reassures him that it's all safe, explaining the basic controls and giving Keanu a quick rundown of the aircraft's functions. As the jet cruises smoothly through the sky, the atmosphere shifts from routine to excitement. Keanu is about to take the helm of one of the most advanced machines in the world. The crew makes space for him at the front of the cabin, and the pilot walks him through the steps of operating the jet. Keanu listens intently, his usual calm demeanor replaced by a glimmer of curiosity. The chance to do something this out of the ordinary, something this spontaneous, feels like an adventure he didn't expect. As Keanu settles into the captain's seat, hands gently placed on the controls, the thrill of the unknown starts to settle in. It's a feeling he doesn't often get in his normal day-to-day life, and he's eager to see how it unfolds. The jet hums steadily as Keanu adjusts into the pilot's seat, the smooth leather of the chair supporting his weight. The cockpit is a world of buttons, screens, and dials, an intimidating array of instruments for anyone unfamiliar with aviation. However, the pilot exudes a calm confidence, his demeanor reassuring, making Keanu feel that this is more about the experience than the technicalities. "Don't worry, Mr. Reeves," the pilot says, his voice smooth and steady over the intercom. "You're not expected to fly the plane for real today. This is just for fun. I'll guide you through the basics. First, let's start with the yoke. This is how we control the plane's direction. Pulling it toward you makes the plane climb, and pushing it forward makes it descend. Simple enough." Keanu nods, trying to take it all in. He feels the slight tension in the air, knowing that this is a rare opportunity. Though he's not one to shy away from a challenge, flying a private jet is a bit of a different animal. The pilot takes a moment to point out the instruments, what each one does and how they're used in different situations. Keanu listens carefully, showing his usual focus. As he takes hold of the yoke, he can feel the power beneath his fingertips, the immense responsibility that comes with this much control. The autopilot's doing most of the work right now. The pilot continues, his voice calm. But you have full control if you want to take over. The key is to stay steady. Small, controlled movements. It's not about making big changes. It's about keeping everything smooth. Keanu can't help but smile at the challenge. He's a quick learner, and his sharp focus on action scenes in his films makes him confident he can handle the controls. But the reality of flying a jet, even under the pilot's watchful eye, begins to sink in. All right, I think I'm ready to give this a shot, Keanu says, a playful glint in his eye. The pilot's grin widens in response. That's the spirit. The pilot chuckles. Remember, it's all about staying steady and being calm. Trust yourself. Keanu takes a deep breath, feeling the excitement and weight of the situation. With a small nod, he gently begins to move the yoke. The jet responds smoothly, lifting a little, then leveling out as Keanu adjusts. The initial trepidation begins to fade, replaced with a sense of accomplishment. Keanu feels the subtle vibration of the jet as it responds to his first movements on the yoke. The cockpit is eerily calm, the hum of the engines the only sound breaking the silence. The view outside the windows stretches endlessly, clouds swirling below and a clear blue sky above. For a moment, Keanu simply watches, allowing the weight of the moment to settle in. All right, just a small pull, the pilot instructs, his voice steady and confident. You'll feel the jet begin to climb. Keanu gently pulls back on the yoke, and the plane begins to ascend smoothly, the horizon slowly tilting as the jet gains altitude. The sensation is more subtle than he expected, like gently rocking in a chair, but on a much grander scale. His hands are steady, his mind focused, and for a moment, it feels almost natural, like this is something he's done 1,000 times before. But the moment is fleeting. As the plane begins to climb, Keanu feels a slight tremor in his hands. The jet shifts, and he quickly corrects, pushing the yoke forward to level the plane out. There's a slight momentary dip, but it's nothing serious. Still, the challenge is real. Flying a jet is far more complex than any action sequence he's ever done on screen. Nice job, the pilot praises, noting Keanu's quick adjustments. But don't forget, you have to be gentle with the controls. Small, smooth movements. You don't want to overcompensate. Keanu nods, wiping a small bead of sweat from his forehead. He's always up for a challenge, but there's no denying the raw power of the aircraft beneath him. The responsibility feels larger than he expected. All right, let's try turning, the pilot suggests, glancing over at Keanu. Turn the yoke slightly to the right. Don't jerk it, just a small motion. Keanu takes a deep breath, glancing down at the yoke before giving it a small, controlled turn. The jet smoothly veers to the right, the horizon tilting again in front of him. He feels the plane respond to his movements, every adjustment guided by the pilot's calm instructions. He can feel the adrenaline start to surge. The experience is exhilarating. Every change he makes, every subtle shift in the jet's direction, gives him a sense of mastery over the machine. It's a far cry from his usual acting role, where his character's fate is decided by the script, but here, the outcome depends on his every action. Keanu looks over at the pilot, who gives him an encouraging smile. You're doing great, the pilot says. Just remember, don't rush it. Take your time. You've got this. Keanu smiles back, the excitement of flying taking hold as he continues to guide the jet through the skies. Just as Keanu starts to feel more at ease with the controls, the atmosphere in the cockpit suddenly shifts. The steady hum of the jet's engines is momentarily interrupted by a slight but noticeable jolt. The plane shudders gently, causing Keanu to stiffen. His eyes quickly dart to the cockpit windows, watching the sky outside. Turbulence, the pilot mutters, his calm demeanor never wavering. Don't worry, it's normal. It happens sometimes when we're flying through areas of unsettled air. Just keep the yoke steady, and remember to stay relaxed. Keanu nods, but inside, his heart skips a beat. The gentle shaking turns into a more pronounced rocking of the plane. The air pressure fluctuates, and the jet begins to dip and rise slightly. It's far more dramatic than anything he's ever experienced as a passenger. His grip tightens on the yoke, trying to maintain control, but the turbulence makes it difficult to keep the plane steady. His thoughts race. He knows the pilot is still in control, but he feels the weight of responsibility as the jet moves through the rough air. It's just like riding a wave, the pilot says, almost as if reading Keanu's mind. You have to let the plane move with air. Don't overcorrect, just keep the movement small and smooth. Keanu swallows hard, his fingers still firm around a yoke. The turbulence continues, tossing the plane slightly from side to side, and Keanu can feel his body bracing against the motions. His mind drifts back to some of the action scenes he's done in films, where high-stakes situations demanded his focus. But this is real. It's not a scripted sequence. It's not a controlled set. The stakes here are different. Okay, small adjustments, right? Keanu says, trying to steady his breathing, focusing on the pilot's instructions. Exactly, the pilot replies. You've got this. The plane is built for this kind of thing. Just keep your hands light and follow the natural flow of the air. Keanu takes a deep breath, feeling the tension in his shoulders slowly begin to ease as he follows the pilot's advice. The jet starts to settle into a smoother flight path, the turbulence now more manageable. It's a constant reminder of the power of the aircraft and the unexpected nature of flying. As the plane steadies, Keanu looks out at the horizon, the rough skies now clearing into calm, blue skies ahead. He releases a quiet sigh of relief, still a bit shaken but proud of how he handled the situation. See? No problem, the pilot says, offering a reassuring grin. That's why we always stay calm up here. It's part of the adventure, but you handled it like a pro. Keanu chuckles softly, grateful for the pilot's steady guidance. But as the adrenaline starts to wear off, he realizes just how much he's learned in such a short time, and how much more there is to experience. Just as Keanu is starting to regain his confidence and the plane levels out, the calm atmosphere is disrupted by a sudden beep from the cockpit. The pilot's expression shifts slightly, and he leans over to check the instrument panel, his eyes scanning quickly. Oh, the pilot mutters under his breath, before quickly speaking into the intercom. Keanu, I need you to hold steady for a moment. We got a minor technical issue with the navigation system. Keanu's heart skips a beat. His immediate thought is, this can't be happening now. He looks at the pilot, his face now serious. The calm demeanor that the pilot has maintained starts to shift as he works quickly. There's no panic in the pilot's movements, but the reality of the situation is clear. Things are about to get a little more complicated. It's nothing major, but the autopilot system is malfunctioning. The pilot continues, his voice still steady. We'll need to manually adjust the course for a bit. I'm going to guide you through it, but stay sharp. Keanu feels a slight increase in tension. The last few minutes of smooth flying had given him a sense of control, but now the reality of flying a jet has set in again. The sense of adventure is starting to mix with the awareness of the responsibility he's taken on. Okay, I'm with you, Keanu says, trying to keep his voice calm despite the adrenaline now coursing through his veins. What do I need to do? The pilot quickly points to the control panel and explains how to adjust the navigation manually. He walks Keanu through each step, directing him to correct the course by adjusting the settings on the plane's autopilot override system. Keanu's hands move instinctively to the right buttons, listening closely to the pilot's instructions as the jet continues to glide through the air. All right, now pull back a bit on the yoke, the pilot instructs. We need to stabilize our altitude until we can get the autopilot back on track. Keanu's fingers feel the pressure as he adjusts the controls. He's no longer just steering the plane through gentle skies or slight turbulence. Now every decision feels like it carries a little more weight. The weight of keeping this massive machine on course, of making sure nothing goes wrong, is now squarely on his shoulders. Nice and steady, the pilot continues, watching Keanu's every move. You're doing great. Just make small adjustments until the system resets. I've got your back. Keanu nods, focusing on the task at hand. The controls feel more sensitive than before, and the sound of the malfunctioning system beeping periodically only serves to remind him of the challenge. But through it all, Keanu's calmness prevails. The same focus and discipline he applies to his work in films is now channeled into flying a jet. As the jet continues its flight, the tension in the cockpit grows slightly, but Keanu remains composed. The pilot's words guide him, and the small adjustments he's making to stabilize the aircraft seem to be working. But the moment feels critical. Keanu's mind is sharp and focused, every part of him alert to the need for precision. The once serene flight has transformed into an intense learning experience, where every choice matters. The cockpit's instrument lights continue to blink erratically, a subtle reminder of the malfunctioning system. Keanu's eyes flick between the displays and the horizon outside, trying to maintain a steady hand. The air feels thicker, and the sound of the jet's engines hums in the background, becoming a constant reminder of the massive machine beneath him. "Good job, Keanu," the pilot says, his voice calm but with a hint of approval. "You're handling this better than I expected. Most people get jittery when something unexpected happens, but you've got the right mindset. Stay focused, and we'll have this sorted in no time." Keanu gives a small nod but doesn't take his focus off the controls. Despite the minor technical issue, he feels surprisingly at ease. It's as though everything he's learned in his acting career, the patience, the ability to stay calm in high-stakes situations, and his deep focus has naturally transferred to this moment. The pilot takes a quick glance at Keanu before continuing to adjust the backup systems. Keanu's hands remain steady, his breath even, as the plane holds its course. His initial nervousness about flying the jet has faded. Now, it's as though the aircraft is an extension of his own body, and he moves with it in fluid synchrony. Keanu feels the challenge and, unexpectedly, the thrill of it. He's always been drawn to experiences that push him outside his comfort zone, and this is no different. The jet's delicate dance through the air is now a test of his ability to remain grounded and unflappable, and Keanu rises to the occasion. "Okay, the systems are stabilizing," the pilot announces after a few minutes of adjustments. "You've done it. We're back on track." Keanu exhales slowly, releasing the tension he didn't even realize he had been holding. The plane feels smoother, the faint beeping sounds now gone. The controls, once a bit daunting, feel natural under his grip. The malfunction has been resolved, but the confidence he's gained in himself is just as significant. "Thanks for your guidance," Keanu says, a smile breaking through his calm expression. "I didn't realize how much focus this would take." "No problem at all," the pilot says with a grin. "You got a natural feel for it. Just remember, flying is all about staying calm. You did great under pressure." Keanu leans back in the seat slightly, a quiet sense of satisfaction spreading through him. He's navigated the challenge, stayed composed, and come out stronger on the other side. With the immediate technical issue now resolved, Keanu feels a quiet sense of relief wash over him. The jet has stabilized, and the turbulence has calmed. But just as he begins to relax, another unexpected beep comes from the control panel. This time, it's not a malfunction, but a warning: low fuel levels. The pilot's expression shifts again, a slight frown forming as he checks the fuel gauges. "We're going to need to adjust our route to make a pit stop for refueling," the pilot announces calmly, his fingers tapping at the control panel. "Looks like we'll have to divert to a nearby airstrip to top off." Keanu, ever the quick thinker, immediately engages. He listens carefully as the pilot explains the rerouting process. Without hesitation, Keanu begins adjusting the plane's course, gently steering the jet in the direction of the nearest runway. It's a small issue compared to the earlier turbulence, but once again, Keanu's ability to think clearly under pressure shines through. "All right, I got the new heading set," Keanu says, confirming the changes on the display. "We should make it there without any issues." The pilot nods, impressed by Keanu's speed and accuracy in taking control of the situation. "Nice work," the pilot says. "This is exactly why I trust you with the controls. You're taking everything in stride, even with all the hiccups." Keanu's hands are steady on the controls as he pilots the jet toward the diversion. Though the situation might seem like another potential complication, Keanu is already focused on the solution. His calm under pressure is no accident. It's a natural extension of the way he's lived his life, facing challenges head-on and navigating them with patience and resolve. As they continue their flight toward the refueling stop, Keanu reflects on the unpredictability of the day. The joy of flying the jet, the uncertainty, the technical challenges, it's all been a whirlwind. But what stands out to him more than anything is the confidence he's gained, not just in flying, but in trusting himself to handle whatever comes next. The plane hums steadily as they approach the new destination, and Keanu begins the final steps of the approach, his movements smooth and precise. The pilot remains by his side, occasionally offering guidance, but for the most part, Keanu is in control now, handling the aircraft like a natural. "You've got it," the pilot says with approval. "We're in good hands." Keanu smiles quietly to himself, appreciating the acknowledgement, but his mind is already on the next task ahead. The day isn't over yet, and there's still more to learn, and more surprises waiting. As the jet glides smoothly toward the airstrip, the tension in the cockpit starts to ease. Keanu's focus remains sharp, but there's a newfound sense of calm now that the situation is under control. The plane's engines hum steadily, and the view from the windows offers a peaceful contrast to the hectic moments that preceded. As they approach the landing strip, the pilot leans over slightly, a look of genuine appreciation on his face. His voice comes through the intercom, slightly warmer than before. "Keanu, I have to say, you handled that better than most people would have," the pilot says, nodding toward him. "I know you're not a professional pilot, but your decision-making today has been impressive. You kept your head together even when things got a little chaotic." Keanu glances at him, a modest smile tugging at the corners of his lips. He's not one to seek praise, but hearing the pilot's approval feels good, especially given the unexpected challenges of the day. "Thanks," Keanu replies, his voice calm. "I guess I've been in a few high-stakes situations before. It helps to stay in the moment and just focus on what's right in front of you." The pilot smiles, impressed by Keanu's humility and grounded approach to the situation. "Exactly. You're a natural, Keanu. Flying, like acting, is about staying focused and not getting overwhelmed by the situation. You did that today. Most people would have panicked with the turbulence or the tech issue, but you stayed steady." Keanu doesn't respond with anything extravagant. Instead, he simply nods, the weight of the compliment hanging in the air. For a moment, the two men share a quiet understanding. Both of them have been through intense moments, albeit in different ways. The pilot, a seasoned professional, has seen all, but Keanu's ability to remain composed and take control when needed has impressed him deeply. With the airstrip now in sight, Keanu prepares to land the jet under the pilot's watchful eye. He takes a deep breath, making small adjustments to the yoke as the plane glides closer to the runway. "All right," the pilot says, offering a final bit of guidance as Keanu lines up for the approach. "You've got this. Just remember to keep it steady, and we'll land smoothly." Keanu gives a quick, appreciative smile, his confidence fully restored after the earlier challenges. The calmness he's displayed so far carries him through the landing, and with one final gentle pull of the yoke, the jet touches down smoothly on the runway. The moment of tension finally subsides as the jet's wheels make contact with the runway. The smooth, controlled descent is the culmination of everything Keanu has learned over the past hour. His focus, steady hands, and calm under pressure have brought the jet safely to the ground. As the jet slows and the engines hum down to a gentle purr, Keanu exhales deeply, his body relaxing in the seat. The finality of the landing settles in, and he looks over at the pilot, who nods with a proud smile. "That was one of the smoothest landings I've ever seen from a first-time flyer," the pilot says, clearly impressed. "You've got real potential, Keanu." Keanu, who had been concentrating intently on the landing, finally lets himself smile. Despite the complexity of the task, there's a sense of accomplishment in the air. His calmness under pressure, his ability to make quick decisions, and his willingness to embrace the experience have all come together to turn what could have been a nerve-wracking situation into a success. "Thanks," Keanu responds, still catching his breath. "That felt pretty incredible." He looks out the window at the runway, feeling the weight of the experience. The peaceful surroundings are a stark contrast to the chaotic moments of turbulence and malfunction that preceded this moment of calm. The pilot guides the jet to a designated parking area on the tarmac, and Keanu feels the jet come to a full stop. He leans back in his seat, letting out a contented sigh. The adrenaline rush has worn off, but a sense of pride lingers. The flight crew begins to move about, readying the jet for the next leg of its journey. Keanu unbuckles his seatbelt and stands up, his legs slightly wobbly, but steady enough to navigate the cabin. He's not a seasoned pilot by any means, but the experience has given him a new sense of appreciation for the complexity of flight and the value of staying calm in the face of challenges. The pilot turns to him as they exit the cockpit. "You did great today, Keanu. I'm not just saying that because you're a celebrity. You handled everything with a level of composure most people would envy." Keanu smiles modestly, his usual humility in place. "It was a wild ride, but I couldn't have done it without your guidance." As Keanu steps off the plane, his feet touching the solid ground, he feels a sense of accomplishment settle over him. The experience has not only been thrilling, but deeply rewarding. It's a reminder that life often presents unexpected challenges, but with the right mindset and calm, you can navigate even the most unfamiliar territory. As Keanu walks away from the jet, the sense of accomplishment continues to settle over him. The roar of the jet engines fades into the background, and he takes a moment to pause and look out at the vast, open sky. The flight, unexpected, challenging, and rewarding, has given him a new perspective. He reflects on how the day unfolded. At first, it was all about the thrill of the unknown. Taking control of a jet was something so far outside his usual experience. But as the flight went on, the unexpected moments, the turbulence, the technical issues, and the pressure of keeping the plane steady tested something deeper than just his ability to follow instructions. It tested his ability to remain calm and present, something Keanu always strives for in life. I guess it's like anything else, he muses to himself as he walks across the tarmac. You just have to trust yourself and stay focused. Things get shaky, but you can't lose your head. Keanu's thoughts drift back to his roles in action films, playing characters who face overwhelming odds and intense pressure. But in the real world, he realizes those moments are often less about action and more about remaining grounded, about finding balance when everything around you feels like it's out of control. Today, flying the jet wasn't about performing for a camera. It was about staying steady in the face of real challenges, and reminded him of something crucial: self-trust. As he heads toward the terminal, the crew members who had been part of the flight approach him, offering their congratulations and praise. Despite the admiration they offer him, Keanu remains humble, brushing off the accolades with a simple thanks. It was a great experience. He shakes hands with the pilot, who offers him a sincere, respectful smile. "You're a natural," the pilot repeats, still impressed. "I wouldn't hesitate to have you back at the controls any day." Keanu gives a quiet, appreciative nod, but his thoughts are already shifting away from the technicalities of the flight and back to his broader philosophy on life. For him, the journey had been as much about mental clarity as it was about flying. The calm focus he maintained throughout the flight reminded him of why he values mindfulness, presence, and not getting swept away by external chaos.